Welcome to the light. Hope you're feeling wonderful and splendid today. This is the show that analyzes and appreciates the lighting choices in some of our favorite series and cinema. So today we're going to discuss Marvel Daredevil, Season 1, Episode 1. Matt Lloyd, the director of cinematography for that show, and his team have made some very simple yet extraordinary lighting choices, and I'm very excited about the series and the way they decided to use light to help tell the story. As we know, light can enhance the way we feel and contribute to a storyline in many different ways. So we're just going to start with talking about a scene right in the beginning of the episode. There seems to be a theme throughout all of Season 1 with using the color yellow. So even in Episode 1, we see right from the start yellow in various shades. We know that colors can have so many different meanings at different times. The brightness, the intensity, the hue of the color. So right now we're just gonna analyze some yellows. Also, I'd like to add before we even really get started that if you have not seen the show yet, or you're unfamiliar with the series and you're interested in watching it, maybe you'd like to hold off on watching this until you watch that, because I'm going to totally ruin so many key things for you right now. So right in the second scene, they jump in with the conversation between Matt and the priest. And the whole scene is lit really dimly with this pale yellow, which indicates like a need for reassurance and insecurity. And the yellow theme jumps all through the first episode with just consistently coming. The next scene is also, the next scene we're going to talk about. The next scene that we're going to talk about is also even at night when yellow light shouldn't be there. Again, you see yellow coming through the window of the office. The yellow here also indicates a need for reassurance and support, but in a different way. When Matt was talking to the priest, he kind of was a little bit just venting, because he didn't need the priest to say, hey, yeah, do whatever you're going to do, because Matt was going to do it anyway. But when he was talking to Foggy, he really was trying to convince him to join his side, to trust what he was saying and to back him up no matter what. So I think that's what that light outside was just trying to reinforce, the idea of the need for security and the need for support, which again is a theme here. Another color that they introduce, that they use again and again for emphasis, is blues, which we'll talk about a little bit later, because obviously yellow and blue make green. But the blues here that they show for the introduction of the lawyers to Karen, it's like a symbolization of trust, and it's royal blue, so it's dark and inviting, basically saying, hey, these guys are okay, you could talk to them, they're not part of the bad guy team or what have you. Even from the street, they show the yellow light coming through the window, the yellow light around the people, from the street lamps around the people, like illuminating around the people just walking in the street. Even it stops on the stoplight turning yellow. And I think that's just to emphasize the feeling of unsettledness, and it's like a consistency that they're trying to show us. I think all these choices are very deliberate, and it leads right into now where they go and talk to Karen inside, and she's describing basically, what is she describing? Just what happened to her in jail and how she's all messed up about it. But again, now we have this yellow light that's a little bit greenish this time, emphasizing again this sick feeling. It's following up with she doesn't know who to trust, she can't go home, she doesn't know where to go. It's just disturbing. It leaves this feeling of ick. Okay, now when they go into Matt's apartment for the first time, or when Karen visits there for the first time, clearly that's not Matt's first time, but the yellow here is a brighter tone. It has a different symbolism. It gives you a feeling of like hope, maybe maybe he can protect her. Maybe there is hope for her. Maybe she won't die in a jail cell somewhere. Maybe everything will be okay. Okay, I love the lighting in this scene here. Now, she walks into his apartment, and the yellow theme is still deep in the background, but you have this purple, right? This intriguing, alluring. This purple is saying, like, I'm mysterious. Things here could be magic. What's going on here? Anything can happen. This is where she starts, like, really inquiring about Daredevil's blindness. How did you even come to this place? She starts, like, really becoming intrigued with Matt's story, and she changes her clothes in front of him, and he's all like, oh, I can't see you, except I totally see everything. Anyway, it's just this idea and feeling of, what's the word I'm looking for? Where anything can happen. But anyway, you know the feeling I'm talking about, where anything can happen. She also starts having the conversation about Union Allied. And the talking about Union Allied is very significant because this is where Karen becomes deceptive. This shows another side of purple. Dark purple can invoke feelings of gloom and sadness, frustration, and also can represent corruption. So maybe she's not as trustworthy as they thought she was. Who knows what her story is at this point. Now we're going to talk about some of the blue light that we see in episode 1. Blue light, for those that don't know, have like, it has so many, just a plethora of meanings. But one of the things that blue is associated with in the Bible and some other, I don't want to call it ancient, but can only think of ancient. Some other established writings, hardness of heart. So we see the blue when there's the conversation between the bad guys. There's the bad guys circling the parking lot, and they're all having that conversation under the pale blue, which is different than the royal blue. You also see the blue when Karen is being attacked at her apartment, when she goes to put her Union Allied thing to the side, or whatever deceptive thing she's trying to do. Also, you see the blue again at the gym. This is the scene I want to talk about because there at the gym, it was just so wonderfully put together where the blue is juxtaposed with the yellow. And the theme there is that although the blue is hardness, like and the key with that is that although the blue is representing like an unforgiving, spiteful, frigid kind of vibration, you also have the yellow, which at the same time is putting forth the symbolism of glory and light and redemption. So it's really interesting to me. And also, I just want to say as a side note that I love that how in this series, when you're in the dark and they're having fighting scenes, you can actually see what's going on in the dark. Because so many times you have, I don't know, scary movies or fight scenes or things that are happening in the dark in so many other series or representations, and you just are like, what's happening? I can't see anything. What's going on? But this team does a very good job of showing you what's happening in the dark, which is very imperative because the majority of this storyline takes place in the dark. I also personally greatly appreciate when the lighting is so intentional. Colors hold so much meaning, and when you're attempting to get a story across visually, or even if you're just trying to be very literal with the emotions that you translate, this to me, I mean, I don't know, this is like, I just do this for fun. So even when you have the security guard that is offed, or he offs himself, or whatever the situation is, and he's under that sick yellow light, but his daughter comes in and finds him in the blue light, and it's like she's already in a position where she's like, that shade of blue indicates like that she's kind of like at calm, at peace, and then she turns the corner and it's like that sick yellow. Then you also have, again, the pale blue light as the drugs are being handled. They're being packed away, and the people are kind of like in this lull haze, but then you have that bright yellow coming from the window from the outside, which is like hope. Maybe out there something is better than what's happening in here, right? Oh, and also the shade of yellow, circling back a little bit, when it shines down on the security guard is not that deep green sick yellow. It's like a paler sick yellow, which is almost reminiscent of like caution yellow. Like, wait, hold on, something is about to be crazy right now. It gives you like a little warning of the scenes to come. And also like can be translated as cowardice, like yellow back, like a yellow belly or whatever. What's the term when they say like I'm yellow chicken or whatever, but like I'm scared, like I'm choosing the coward's way out by taking the way out, you know, that he took. So also I just really appreciate the consistency of the color scheme, because it's like these different shades of blue, yellow, but it's telling a different type of story with the way they're introducing the blues and the way that they're being repetitive with the yellow. The blue that we see coming up in the next scene is like where the scene where the guy, this guy, the bad guy, the light indicates it being sinister, because the pale blue is now mixed with this fluorescent white. So it invokes this feeling of like, instead of it being like the sadness that the blue by itself would give you, it gives the feeling of like intentional mean. And I just love the way they lit this series. Anyway, also the fluorescent light shows up again, this white, you know that feeling you get when the lighting is this overhead line is this fluorescent white. It's unnatural. That's the terminology. It's just like feels wrong. Also, you have here the introduction of the first red lamp, which we see over and over again. That starts becoming a theme as more episodes come along. The red lamp. So they introduced the red lamp, which will later become more prevalent. But I also think the way they introduced it, with the whole yellow surrounding the scene of this guy exchanging weapons or doing whatever criminal activity they're up to, it just is so fluid. And I believe it falls in line with what they were trying to achieve. Just being very deliberate with their color choices. The yellow hair reads like a foreshadowing. It's going to tell like at the end of the episode regarding to the upcoming power struggle between Daredevil and the bad guys. And the red is this angst. It's like dead in the middle of the frame, this uneasiness that we're kind of like waiting to see. We're like on the edge of our seat. What's going to happen? I think, anyway, I love it. I love it. You have also the bluish white, which is like, again, this repetitive ill, I'm sick. This bluish white that happens in the streets. So now not only am I sick personally with the yellowish and the greenish, but the city is sick. And we're all feeling thrown off. Okay, so the final scene of this episode shows the city in this bluish white light, which is like gives you an unsettled feeling. It's again this repetitive theme of being ill, this sickness, but this time the sickness takes over the whole city, and it's up to Daredevil to remedy the sickness with his hope. That's why you have the yellow light on the roof that's like basically saying, look to me, I'm the one, and the harsh lighting that's being pushed onto the wall from the yellow light, which is representative of his rigidness, his stiffness, his inflexibility. I'm not going to budge. I'm not going to move. I'm here to save the town. I'm here to save the city, and there's nothing you can do about it, bad guys. So I think the director of photography was very true to the consistency of the episode. I really love how the whole thing was executed, the different hues and the shades of colors, and I'm just thoroughly enjoying the lighting of this series. So I want to know your guys' take. Let me know what you think about it. Leave your comments, and pretty please subscribe and join me again for the next analysis of The Light. And remember to seek the light and to be the light.